forgiveness?
So here's what I say in Lazy Love about forgiveness. Now, I know y'all might disagree with me.
Anytime there's a
Okay.
disclaimer, buckle
I
up.
already know y'all gonna disagree. The word forgiveness.
Yes.
Can I look at them and talk to them?
Yes, talk to them.
So the
Slide
word
your chair over.
all right, forgiveness. The word for, it's not F-O-U-R, it's F-O-R, because it's adjacent to where we get forehead.
Mm.
So the forehead comes before anything on my body. It's at the top. Okay.
Wow.
So in order for me to forgive, I have to be a forgiver before I'm offended.
Wow.
If I wait until I am offended to try to forgive, that's called trauma and unforgiveness. You can't build a house in a hurricane.
Mm.
You got to build it before.
Yeah.
And so forgiveness in our days has become a difficult exercise. It's because we walk around offended all day. And the Bible talks about how we take offense, how we're not offended, but we take offense.
Yeah.
And so we're all offended. So everybody's all wound up, right? But I got to decide now, how many times will you forgive? 70 times 7. So that calculation, that mathematical equation exists prior to I've been offended that many a times.
Right.
So what's one of the rules of this relationship? That we will forgive each other no matter what. That's decided. That's already decided.
Yeah.
It ain't up for negotiation.
Yeah.
That's already predetermined. So forgiveness is only difficult when you're trying to build a plane in the air. If we make sure that when we have in our conversations, and I believe that difficult conversations should happen in good times.
No, that's great.
The worst time to have a serious conversation is when we're both mad. It's like having a contract. Like,
I'm a living witness. He's all right.
let's talk about this while we're good.
Yeah.
Let's find out. All right, if the company dissolves, who gets 51%, who gets 49%. Let's do it before we get into arbitration. The contract protects the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So if we build the contract prior to building the relationship, then forgiveness can happen before and not in. I think that's one of the best ways. And then I'll say this lastly about forgiveness. My definition, or my working definition for forgiveness, is remembering the incident without being distraught because of the pain.
Mm.
When I can remember what happened and not visit those feelings again and fall completely apart,
Yes,
then that is a sign that I have gotten on the track to forgiveness.
that's great. I wanted to ask you, having lived through divorce in a happy marriage, I want you to define to somebody who is engaged en route to be remarried. I want you to define for me what is for better or for worse.
So for better or for worse, practically, when you're at your worst, that's when I'm going to be at my best.
Mm.
Right? Because it's going to be both.
Yeah.
It's going to be both. So what I'm really promising you is, at your worst, I ain't going to go low with you.
Yeah, right.
In order for the sake of this union, when you're at your worst, I'm going to show up and be my best. I talk about in the book how we have to, and again, this is another one of those things that people may disagree with me on, that we have to abolish this idealism about relationships being 50-50. Because if we're 50-50, what we're promising each other is that we will meet each other in the middle. I don't think that that's a great recipe. I think we should meet each other wherever we are.
Mm.
So if you got 70 today,
Yeah.
I'll bring 30. Because tomorrow, I might have to give you my 70 because you may only have 30.
Right.
There are some days that you and Carrie, you'll have 100, she'll have 0. And if we play games, you're going to be like, well, where my 50? I ain't got it.
Right.
You're going to have to come all the way. That means you're going to have to come kiss me on the forehead. I got the attitude. I'm the one that misspoke. I'm the one that didn't cook. I'm the one.
My Lord.
But
as a prophet in our midst.
Carrie, I did not know. I just happened to say that wherever you are watching this. I did not know. but I have to meet you where you are
Yeah.
and not in the middle. That becomes destructive because I come to expect something from you that you don't have today.
Mm.
The agreement is whatever's lacking, I'm bringing the rest.
No, I love it. We are living in an era where the average Black person post-high school, the average Black person doesn't read one nonfiction book post-high school.
Are you kidding me?
So they're reading Zane. They're reading romance books, but they're not reading a nonfiction book.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did not know that. Where
yeah.
you get all these facts from, man?
Listen, I'm a Google Meister, brother. I live on the web.
Okay.
Why should the people who are watching, who don't ordinarily read, go beyond themselves to get this book?
Yeah, because you were created to love.
Mm.
You were not created to work at your job.
Mm.
Can I just go further?
Please.
You wasn't created specifically just to be somebody's boo.
Yeah.
You weren't created just to be a millionaire. You were created to love. The Bible says God is love. Well, if God is love, where do I prove that? We were made in his image.
And his likeness.
And his likeness. So we were created by love to be love. And in the book, I ain't talking about Instagram. I'm talking about agape, storge, eros, and phileo, the 4 Greek terminologies for love.
Yeah.
1, agape, that's the love that we have from God to one another. And then we've got phileo, that's brotherly love, where we get Philadelphia from. We got storge, we got eros, where we get our word erotic. We got to get back to the basis of how God said that we should love, because without true love, you will never live a fulfilled life. So you should read this book so that you don't have to read the ones you're reading that are not helping.
Yeah.
You should read this book so that you don't have to watch, Instagram post every once in a while or something on TikTok just to lift the endorphins so you can feel good about yourself. Yeah. And by the way, while we're always trying to figure out how to love other people, there is room in the world for you to learn how to love yourself. And loving yourself helps you to define who you are and how you show up in relationships, and to know what you are not when somebody calls you what you are not.
Yeah.
And then you give the gift of you to somebody else. I was preaching a sermon this past week called From Chaos to Clarity. And I talked about how, and you've preached this, I've heard you preach this and kill it. The Bible says that they dropped their nets.
Yeah.
And for a big catch. And when Jesus came to get on the boat, the Bible says they were cleaning their nets.
Yeah.
Well, a net is designed to be invisible in water. The only way the fish can see it if it's got debris on it. Right? So now they got to clean out the debris, because if they don't clean out the debris is going to rot the net. And if they do catch something, the net is going to break because they didn't clean it. It's the same way.
I've never preached this, but I'm preaching it next Sunday.
On record.
On record. On record. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So if you don't clean the net, the mollusk, all of the animals that get on it, they eat away at the debris. So inevitably, while they're eating at the debris, they're eating at the net. Watch this. So now the net that isn't clean finally gets a big catch, but it breaks because it hasn't been cleaned. That's the same way we are. If we sit out our nets for a big catch and we don't get rid of the debris, our love is unreliable. If we do get a big catch, we're going to break.
Wow.
If we do get a big catch, we're going to divorce.
Yeah.
If we do get a big catch, we're going to hurt somebody. So you have to do the work of cleaning out the trauma and the debris so that your love can be trusted.